Hey guys, what's up? In this lesson, we will learn how to deal with difficult people. So, let me ask you a question. Are you frustrated when it comes to dealing with difficult people? Does it make you a little upset knowing that you are going to have to leave the house in the morning and deal with difficult people all day long? Maybe it gives you a little bit of headache. Did you ever feel like they take advantage of you, perhaps, maybe even bully you around, push you around a little bit? If you feel frustrated and angry and you want this feeling to stop and you want to say, you know what, enough is enough, I am going to take control of this situation, I want to be in control of me, then this chapter might be for you because that's what this is about. This is getting rid of those frustrations, getting rid of those anxieties, being able to walk out of the door to go face your boss or your co-workers or whoever and to feel good about it. To know that you are going to be in control, that it's not going to make you sick on the inside to get up and go face the day every day knowing that you are going to have to deal with difficult people. In fact, hopefully by the end of this chapter and with a little bit of practice, this strategy and this tactics that you are going to learn in here are going to be invigorating. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be energizing, and you are going to be able to go out there and you are going to be able to deal with difficult people face to face. And you are going to smile knowing that you are going to have the ability and you are going to use the process to take those difficult people, turn them around and make them cooperative. Maybe even beyond that. Perhaps now they are collaborative in nature, they are actually working with you for your benefit and for theirs. That's what this chapter is about regaining that power, regaining that control, and to say enough is enough. I am not going to be controlled by difficult people anymore, I am in control of me. That's what this course is about. And if those feelings touch home with you, then observe this, make this a part of you, practice, drill, and rehearse the strategies and tactics that are in this chapter, and let me know how it goes. I want to hear back from you. I want to know what works and what doesn't. Perhaps you have an individual story or a difficult person that you are dealing with and you want a couple of tweaks. Well, let me know. Let me see if I can come up with a solution for you, or maybe a couple tips or tricks to try to turn that difficult person into a cooperative and collaborative person. You see, difficult people put us in compromising situations. They have the ability to push our buttons, and by pushing that button it causes that disconnect between brain and mouth, and we say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and that might get us fired. We don't want that to happen. So this is about putting a block over that button or a shield over that button so they can never push it, and we can maintain that connection between our brain and our mouth. So it's about career safety. So the number one goal of this chapter is safety. Number two goal of this chapter is health and wellness. By reducing the overall level of stress that you experience when dealing with difficult people is going to make you healthier and a happier person. That's what I am trying to do, is give you those skills so you have more control, more power, and more ability to deal with difficult people. That's going to increase your overall health and wellness, increase your morale, and make you a happier person. The next goal is I want to decrease the overall number of complaints that you receive, and that could be in-house complaints, complaints from the other employees, complaints from your boss, complaints from customers, or complaints in your own family. I want to be able to decrease the overall number of complaints that you receive. Think about those things as we go through all of these different tactics. Now we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of this stuff and really get to work on how to deal with difficult people. So the number one strategy is reaction versus response. The first one we are going to cover is how to move from reaction status to a response status. You see, when you are dealing with a difficult person, what they want, वो हमसे चाहते हैं कुछ गलत बोलकर हमारा कुछ गलत रिएक्शन सुनना. So if you are playing with their rules, you are never gonna win. You cannot beat them like for a single time. We don't want that to happen. We want to get out of the reaction. You see, a reaction is very natural. It's what we easily go to. There's no intelligent thought behind the reaction. It's a fight syndrome, right? We don't have to think about it and we just jump right into reaction. Well, that's what a difficult person wants you to do, as they want you to react to what they are saying. They are trying to build up that emotion. They are trying to push your button. वो आपको गुस्सा दिलाना चाहते हैं. And when they can push the button, they cause that disconnect between your brain and your mouth. आपके दिमाग से और आपके ज़बान से वो कनेक्शन तोड़ना चाहते हैं. And then you end up saying something that you wish you shouldn't have said, right? We have all been there thousands of times, right? So we don't want to play by their rules, we want to play by ours rule. So whenever you are angry and you wanted to say something, that don't say it. If it feels good, never say it, don't say it. That's a key thing. I mean, just think about that. You are dealing with a difficult person and you want to say something, and don't say it. Just take a pause. So that's a key point. Thanks to the books which I have read before. उसी में से मैंने ये बात उठाई थी. It was written in book Verbal Judo. It was by Dr. George. In this, he just explained it. If it feels good, don't say it. If you are in anger and if you wanted to say something, don't say it. Just take a pause and take a deep breath. So what we want to do is we want to move from that reaction point, because it's natural. I mean, when somebody comes up to me and started saying that, Mohit, you have not managed that meeting very well, you should have done it more better, then मैं उसके अगेंस्ट में बोलना चालू कर दी, no, I have given my best, maybe there is a mistake from your side, we shouldn't be doing that, right? So I want to stop reacting to what people say. So what I will do in this situation, rather than किसी और पर इल्ज़ाम थोपना, किसी और को blame करना, I will first check whether I am angry or not, whether my mind is connected to my tongue, and then I will take a pause, then I will respond very politely. या मे बी मेरी वजह से कुछ गलती हुई होगी प्रेजेंटेशन में, सो आई एम रियली वेरी सॉरी फॉर दैट, एंड फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट टाइम आई विल बी डूइंग माई बेस्ट. सो दिस इज़ हाउ यू टेक अ पॉज and then politely you respond to them, and then what will happen, they will say कि okay Mohit, it's okay, it's totally fine, faults मतलब गलतियाँ हो जाती है कभी कभी. That's how you manage this type of situations. So does that make sense? That's what this is about. So we are moving from reaction to response, and that's where the intelligent thought comes in. That's where you stop and go, let me make sure my mouth is actually connected to my brain right now. Let me make sure I am not going to use that natural use of language. I am not going to say what I really feel like saying, because if it feels good, I am not supposed to say it. Okay, let me respond, and you respond in a clear, professional, practiced way, right? And then the difficult person is now forced to play by your rules, because you didn't give them what they wanted. You didn't give them a reaction. You see how important this is? You can see how this can work. If it feels good to react, oh yes it does, but we need to move to the smarter way. We are going to respond from now. We are not going to react. Okay, so let's move forward to the second strategy. The second strategy is empathy versus sympathy. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between empathy and sympathy, and why it's important to have one, and why the other one isn't really so important when dealing with difficult people. A lot of people think that empathy and sympathy are very similar, but yet they are really quite different. Sympathy has to do more with feelings. I feel bad for you. I can sympathize with you. I understand how that feels or that hurts, right? This is like for sympathy. It's more of a feeling nature, where empathy is more of an understanding of their perspective. उनका देखने का नज़रिया समझना is empathy. I can have a lot of empathy for somebody. I can turn around and put myself in their shoes. Just like the saying goes, don't criticize somebody till you have had a chance to walk a mile in their shoes. And as one comedian said, well, then you are a mile away and you have their shoes. But we really need to be able to see things from their perspective. We need to be able to have an empathetic viewpoint. I think empathy is one of the most powerful words in the English language, and we are trying to view the problem from their perspective for our advantage, because we want to bring this difficult person over into the corporative side. Correct, we want to be able to work with them and get along with them and make life easier for us. So we need to view the problem from their perspective, because here's the thing is, in a million years you will never convince anybody of anything by telling them that they are wrong. It just won't happen. I mean, think back of an argument that you have had or any past experience that you have had with somebody, and somebody has said, you know what, you are wrong. Did that change your mind? Did you ever stop and go, oh, you know what, I might be, maybe there's a few occasions and that might be with a really trusted person. But if we are dealing with a difficult person, the more you tell somebody that they are wrong and you are right, the more they are going to fight with you, right? That's conflict. You push me, I am going to push back. So what we need to do is move around to their side. So let's look at this right here. If we look at a concave wall, or is it a convex wall? I don't know. It depends on what side of the wall you are standing on. But if you are standing on one side and I am standing on the other side, and you say, hey Mohit, this wall is concave wall, I can be standing on the other side going, that I think you are absolutely 100% wrong. This is clearly a convex wall. And you shout over top of the wall and you are like, Mohit, you are an idiot. Of course, this is a concave wall. And I am like, you are even dumber than I thought. It's clearly a convex wall. How could you be so stupid not to see this? This is how arguments happens all the time. And what it takes is for somebody to stop, walk around to the other side of the wall and go, oh, okay, I can see it's from your perspective. Yes, this does look like a concave wall or a convex wall, depending on who walks around, right? So by doing so, you are having empathy for the other person. You are wanting to see the situation from their viewpoint. That doesn't mean you have to agree with their viewpoint at all. Let me explain empathy with one more story. इस स्टोरी में एक पुलिसमैन एक क्रिमिनल के घर जाता है। वहाँ पर उसके बच्चे होते हैं, और जब वो हथकड़ी उसको पहनाने जाता है क्रिमिनल को, तो क्रिमिनल बोलता है, प्लीज़ मुझे मेरे बच्चों के सामने हथकड़ी मत पहनाओ, वो अभी बहुत छोटे हैं। और वो उनके दिमाग में फिर लाइफ टाइम के लिए बैठ जाएगा कि एक पुलिस आई थी घर पे, वो मेरे फादर को लेके चलेगी हथकड़ी पहना के, और वो लाइफ टाइम कभी घर वापस नहीं आए। सो व्हाट पुलिसमैन डिड, he saw this situation from the criminal's viewpoint. उसने उसके पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचा, उसके व्यू पॉइंट से देखा, और पुलिसमैन ने बोला, ठीक है, तुम घर से बाहर आ जाओ और मैं तुम्हें घर के कोने में ले आकर मैं तुम्हें हथकड़ी पहना के कार में बैठा लूँगा। सो दिस इज़ वॉट एम्पैथी इज़। हमें जब भी कोई डिफ़िकल्ट पर्सन मिले, वी हैव टू थिंक फ्रॉम देयर पर्सपेक्टिव, and we should make them sure कि he is also looking at the things from our perspective. So that's how you deal with a difficult person. Okay, so let's move toward third strategy, active listening. You see, most people think communication is all about talking. Well, and essential part of communication isn't so much talking, it's actually listening. And it's a skill that takes a little bit or even a lot of work depending upon who you are. In fact, let me read this quote here from Ralph. He says the most basic of all human needs is the need to understand and be understood. The best way to understand people is to listen to them. In fact, most people, what they do is during a conversation, they are not necessarily listening. What do you think they will be doing? They are trying to think of what they are going to say next. And you hear people always trying to interrupt when one person is telling the story, the other person over here is just waiting for a pause, and then as soon as there's a pause, boom boom, they blurt in with their story, right? And that happens all the time. And so it takes some skill, especially because of the habits that we have developed, I think, as a society, to pause and really listen and think about what other people are saying and hear the words that they are saying and the reasons behind it. It's vital when dealing with a difficult person is that we need to actively listen to them. We need to open our minds, hear exactly what they are saying, and then form a response after the fact, not during it. If what happens if we are trying to form a response while they are talking, we are missing what they are saying because our mind can only focus on one thing at a time. And so what we are doing is, when we are trying to formulate the response, we are missing half the things. So what we need to do is, we need to listen without judgment. We need to be open, right? And we need to hear and understand their intended message. What does that mean? That kind of goes with what I said, the last one, that we are focusing on their actions, right? We are not worried about the words they are saying, we are focused on their meaning. We need to really focus on their intended message, and that's vitally important, right? And there's a couple of different factors that will affect how well we can listen. And some of it could be personal history with the person, right? Maybe there's something going on, maybe you have a lot of anger as well, and that your ears are now disconnected from your brain. You are having a hard time listening because you are upset or angry, right? And you might not even be willing to listen at that moment. And if that's the case, to deal with a difficult person in that situation, you might be part of the problem. You might be part of the difficult person dealing with another difficult person. We don't want to get there. So how do we maybe redirect that into another direction and say, you know what, I am having a really hard time hearing what you are saying right now. Can we take maybe a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break, or whatever the case may be? I need to go get some coffee, or what have you, give you that moment away from the situation to let the diffuse a little bit, right? So let the tension and all that stuff go down, and that way you can listen a little bit better, and you have a better capacity to listen. So a variety of different things come in. I think foremost is you have to be willing to listen without judgment. You have to be open, and you have to really focus on the fact that you are listening to the meaning of what the people are saying, not so much their words. I mean, you still have to hear their words because there might be hidden meaning in there someplace, but you really got to get down to the meat and potatoes of why it is they are saying it and what they are trying to accomplish, and really try to focus on that task. So it's a difficult skill. You really need to develop the desire to listen. How well a person can listen and how well a person does listen are not always equal, right? You might be a good listener or consider yourself a good listener, but do you really do that? So it's something you have got to spend some time on. Increase your overall capacity to learn how to listen a little bit better, and really focus in on what and why things are being said the way they are. Okay, so without further wait, let's move to our last strategy, which is questions. Now let's talk about yet another vital skill when it comes to dealing with difficult people. We want to take this difficult person from uncooperative, difficult, mean, nasty, and pull them over across the spectrum into a cooperative person. And we are going to do this by controlling the conversation. Now, typically, the person who controls the conversation is the one who's asking the question. So, think about this. When you go to your doctor, you might walk in, maybe you have a couple of symptoms that you describe, and then your doctor begins to ask you a series of questions to get as much information as they possibly can, so that the doctor can provide us the actual solution. So the same thing we have to ask to the difficult person. We have to ask him a bunch of questions: why, what, when, where, how can this happen, how come it converted into such a big problem. So we don't want to be a robot in this situation. Don't just ऐसा मत बोलना कि आपने स्क्रिप्ट याद कर रखी है. डोंट आस्क क्वेश्चन लाइक दिस. वी वांट टू हैव आवर ओन पर्सनैलिटी कम आउट. ओके, वी वांट टू बी काम, cool, collected, and in charge of the situation. And we want to emphasize when we ask these questions, and it's got to come through because remember, if it's not in tune with your body language and your voice tone and your speech and your context and all of that stuff, they are not going to buy it. They bring something up, or they ask you a question. You can feed that question back to them. Say, interesting, I was just curious, why would you ask me that? This must be something that's really important to you. Can you tell me a little bit about it? So you can ask those questions and get that person responding to you. So feeding the question or the statement back to them is a key to getting more information, so you can then develop your appropriate response. We don't want to react. So for example, somebody walks into my office and they say, hey, you didn't get that report in on time. I pause for a moment, I think about what they said, and now I am going to feed it back to them. I don't get my report in on time, and I have a question mark at the end of that, and now they are going to give me more information. So the concept of feeding a statement or feeding a question back to somebody is vitally important, and it allows us to take a little bit longer time, so we can then formulate an appropriate response. Another thing that you might often get is somebody that walks in, or maybe you are on the phone or whatever, and they go, I need to speak to a supervisor right now. They say on the call, I need to speak to a supervisor right now. Well, let's feed that back to them. You need to speak to a supervisor. Well, yes, I need to speak to a supervisor right now. Well, this sounds really important. Do you mind sharing me a little sharing with me a little bit about what the problem is? हम उसे इस तरीके से अगेन उससे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं. And I will be happy to get a supervisor for you soon. As simple as that. So see how we begin to ask the question and we take control of that conversation. Does that make sense? So with that said, इस वीडियो को यहीं पर ख़त्म करते हैं, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप इन स्ट्रेटजीज़ को अपनी कॉपी में नोट डाउन करें. सारी ही इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ों को कॉपी में नोट डाउन करें. एक छोटी सी डायरी बना लें और अपनी पॉकेट में रख लीजिए, और अपनी रियल लाइफ में इन्हें यूज़ करना चालू करें. ये आपको बहुत फ़ायदा पहुंचा सकती है. ठीक है, और हमेशा ध्यान रखें, सिर्फ काम करके कोई सीईओ नहीं बन सकता. आपको आपकी पर्सनैलिटी में बहुत चेंजेस लाने पड़ेंगे. आपको क्लेवर होना पड़ेगा. आपको हर तरीके की सिचुएशन को संभालना आना चाहिए. उसी के बाद आप एक मिलियनियर और बिलियनियर बनने का ख्वाब देखें. सिर्फ काम करने से कोई बिलियनियर और कोई करोड़पति नहीं बनता. आपको आपकी ओवरऑल पर्सनैलिटी को चेंज करना पड़ेगा. अपने नाखून से लेकर अपने बाल तक सब कुछ चेंज कर दीजिए. पूरी पर्सनैलिटी को रीडेवलप कर रहे हैं आप इस कोर्स के साथ. सो आपके फीडबैक मेरे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. मुझे इंस्टाग्राम पर आप मैसेज करके या आप व्हाट्सएप पर मुझे मैसेज करके आप आपके रिव्यूज़ दे सकते हैं. थैंक यू. चलो मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में.